The word on the street is he loves sketching. He'll hang around anywhere for it. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Sketches everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilichurls? Isn't he in danger? Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them. Enough talk. Let's take them out of the picture first. I must leave no stone unturned. I'll catch up. Steady as stone.
Who are you? Why did you alarm them? Thank the gods I'd already completed my sketch. Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilichurls unfinished.
What's up with sketching hilichurls?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my sketch, it may give you a clue.
Wow! Look at the detail! But some of it seems to have been...
You can find these hilichurls anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution at work. Evolution, the transition from nothing into existence, from the known to the
Hold your horses. Something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got the stamina. We found your man. I'm headed back.
What? Don't you have any questions for him? Hey! What a weirdo.
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. And I didn't have time to thank her. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you were looking for me?
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be... I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental control, and quite a few other mysterious things. I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You came... Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think... forgive me. This must be
Whoa! You wanna...
You're right. For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method I'm talking about has produced no results. It's like you, in that it hails from another world. Helping it to grow, to bloom. That's the problem my research is up against. That's where I need your assistance.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out, Paimon's not sure we're gonna be much assistance.
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known world. But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way to get the seed to sprout.
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
It's possible. But I will time for a change of surroundings.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
I'll catch up. I'll catch up. I'll catch up. I'll catch up. I must leave no stone unturned. Leave it all to me. a question. After the seed sprouts, will it grow into anything?
I don't know. But I feel the importance will lie in the method. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my after awakening. Even creation may be possible. Still a little difficult to understand?
No! Paimon's got a brain! But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it...
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious...
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. How you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Things of that nature. Fascinating. And this floating child is... connected?
What a stupid question! Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you. Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder... did Paimon guide the elemental power? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick. Or cause the waterfall south of Springfield to flow backwards. No, that definitely can't be it.
Hey! How would you know anyway?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that of the humans in this. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in their research, it seems that only experimentation will yield the answers. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like to examine. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be...
Huh? Doesn't seem...
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just a simple Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Ocean.
Slimes! Slimes are fine!
Well, prepare yourself. This...
Retribution! Retribution!
Great work. Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the external now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally, let's test the internal flow.
Internal flow?
It's very simple. I can use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness. No bodily injury.
And in the abnormal?
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Try not to worry. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved, but if there is anything blocking your elemental flow, we'll be able to locate it with just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign. Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the test is missing a catalyst. We'll need to find it. It's a type of ore known as star silver, but unfortunately not all of it is suitable. I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the way. I'll point out any likely contenders. All going to plan, we should be able to begin concocting the potion when we get to the campsite.
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns, but it seems like there's a silver lining. Let's keep our eyes open.
You're in for a little shock. Come a little closer.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes. This one. Usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way. This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collected to the concoction. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in Mondstadt already.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board there.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all the...
I wouldn't call them results, inferences. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this trap. Consider. You don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes don't have Following this line of thought, I'm sure we'll be able to establish a basis in...
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings consisting entirely of the elements. A cryoregisvine, or even a whopperflower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants and animals, in that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all, we've got our primary data already. This traveler is a visitor from another world. If it turned out that she did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world... Now that really would be something, wouldn't it?
Ah, it would. Apologies. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting analysis here for the time being. If you're keen for an update,
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What's happened to her?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And a very positive one at that. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, a repelling reaction is to be... But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort. Once the flow...
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. Perhaps it's just scholarly self-assurance, and it certainly speeds things up. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from anyone else in this world.
Aw, Paimon wanted...
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to be of the... undesirable variety. The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and everyone understands you. People are the same, they can understand, empathize, encourage, and support one another. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, You can ask people who've made the same mistake for their experience, because you are them. But a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we take for granted. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyro-regisvine, or an Eye of the Storm. To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out. If you could see to collating them.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. You gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limits. I'm thinking a lot clearer now. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me, but starting with the premise of an elemental life form? Now that was...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter, I'd like your
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory to all.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a suck-up. What Paimon meant to say was, that's the spirit! Mr. Albedo, say something!
Before we can proceed with our research, if you're interested, why not have a look around? It may help to pass the time.
Here comes Albedo! Let's go see him!
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Agreed. I'd love to find a moment to... Well, on with... There may be significant differences. Take Tevat, for example. Here, but worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. So, leaving elements to one side. I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, time for the next No. You shan't be... Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it. That was your best effort?
What's with the disappointment?
Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking. I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation. I suppose I have a curiosity for anyway. Why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat?
Cooking? Paimon was looking...
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it...
Paimon bit... It does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves.
I'll leave you to it then. Looking for... If there's anything...
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem. How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try the willpower thing again. Where does it get...
That was fast. Looking forward to testing the results. An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. You seem well versed in the science of gastronomy. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Unless... Could it be that the natural laws...
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more complicated
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. And here's your portion. Enjoy.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone...
Hey! You were being nice a second, but you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good students?
Yes, I'm fortunate too. There are all manner of alchemical items here. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading.
Paimon's barely finished eating and you want—
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. If you had, say, a superpower, like night vision, I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking just now.
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh yeah! You could use element... This must be electrohypostasis powder! An animal crystal fly can only be animal elemental energy, right? This has gotta be it!
Goodness, you managed to find them. Incredible. 1,000 thanks. I'm wondering, this elemental sight...
Yep, guess it does.
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is so, only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would...
You mean,
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. Besides, I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental traces. Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. Our research on your identity as one of us is just beginning. In essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual and physical capabilities. Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, so what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million... Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, we'll gain a more thorough understanding with an I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test. Please, follow me.
You want us to jump from up here?
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively, using some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, every detail is in. Then if you would, please.
Wait a minute. While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing, emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Great work. I've never seen a performance quite like it. Your reputation precedes you, traveler. The data...
But you followed us the whole...
Me? Actually, I used up. If it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect you, I should be able to make If the natural laws of Tavad do affect you, then the innumerable possibilities that this could present, the captivating insights...
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the campsite, I should be able to show you something. I may be about to make some analogies between you and gold, petrified trees. The essence of the investigative process is enthralling. I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, and yet specimens are finite. As the unknown transitions into the realm of scientific understanding, the feeling of enlightenment is lost. All these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessing the prosaic mundanity of a sunsetia or a sweet flower. They cease to be noteworthy.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to sketch those hilly trails? Because you got to see something new?
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier, these creatures are, for the most part, quite boring.
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be, like, boring to you? Like sketch...
Of course not. You have been of great assistance to me. And now, before we head back to the camp, follow me. There's... I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during your travels. I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test of your capabilities. I'd like you to explore these ruins. There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. After completion, you should be able... As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do is a tried and tested So, let's see you in action. Start with... It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you. It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out.
Hey! Explaining things is Paimon's job!
You're in for a little shock.
Seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look. What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. They can be found all over Teyvat. There's still a lot to learn about them. And let me make a copy first. I'll make...
Another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolvable mystery this, weird experiment that. It'd be nice to get some cool results for once. Seems like if you want the reward, you gotta pay the price.
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively, the little reward I can offer is... Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kinda looking forward to see, unless you can think of anything better.
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is going on here.
You didn't leave?
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous potions? Participating in all kinds of strange experiments? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive. Or perhaps you were colluding from the beginning.
Listen, sister, your guard's so high you can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy...
No way! Paimon would have sensed it. And anyway...
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential threat back into...
So... what are you gonna
do? I've gotta hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that I've investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda are these symbols.
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. Not to mention, but for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. Now then, all things considered, I deem that you pose no immediate threat, which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me work overtime on your account.
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! So stubborn. Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh.
You're back. Good timing. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way? Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today. and it was very but the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is you're very much like a
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, nothing. Have you ever considered that the world of Tevat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. But after I observed, imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
the transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem. Is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself? It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of incomparable beauty.
Paimon thought, with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently, lived... So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Don't be... Albedo,
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was in the future, if the need arises, can I Well, I made a point throughout of telling her how... But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? It should not have been there. What could it mean? Those born of Earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, both composed of a substance that has yet... If, one day, I lose control, destroy Mondstadt, can I rely on you to stop me?